Hi, everyone, and welcome to Effective Time Management. It's kind of funny. I remember sitting with my mentor, Jim Rohn, and he would always say, wouldn't it be great if you could go to Father Time or Mother Time and say, hey, can I borrow a couple more hours this week? And I'll gladly give it back next week. However, time management doesn't work that way. So I thought today I would talk about time and management, effective time management from my time management course, and also talk about territorial management for some of you that have territories, and then talk about ways that we can really specifically uh, prospect better, whether you're online or remote or face to face. So hopefully all of you know me because everybody's on here is either my student or been through my training. And so I won't tell you my whole story about coming from Cuba, even though I like hearing it. It's always fun to just get into the training. So today, just real quick, as you know, I came from Cuba with nothing but the clothes I was wearing. And I went from zero to wealth at the age of 19 and never having to work since I was 31 years old. I do this because I love it. I'm writing my 29th book right now on the mindset, which I just got a book deal from a UK publisher who has another one of my books. And so I'm working on the mindset. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let's get into it. Effective time management. Well, first and foremost, I got to set the thing up because, as you know, I am fired up. And you got to be fired up in life to make it happen, right? And the thing about time management is you got to learn to complete cycles. See, a lot of people don't realize that time management can be done by taking certain items and completing cycles so you get things done. It's really important that you do that. So I'm going to break it down pretty good. I've created a PowerPoint for you on time management. So the key is we're ready to go. So let's get started right into it. So first and foremost, time planning and organization make a difference between working smarter, not harder. So what I wanted to do is talk to you about how do we do that? Well, there's a few ways that I learned from my mentors. And if you manage your time, it prevents future problems. I call them challenges, but problems. And then, of course, if you do time management, organization, it eliminates guilt. How many times have you had a day go by, you didn't get done what you wanted to get done, and you feel bad about it? You feel guilty. Mr. Murphy used to say to me all the time, he'd say, whatever you can do today, make sure you complete the cycle, get it done, right? Or when you make money, whatever you can get other people to do, get them to get it done. So it could be just you if you're a one man or one woman show, or it could be if you have a team, make sure you complete cycles. And the key is to break it down, and I'll break it down in a minute for you. Next, it gives more time for creativity. Now, why do I put that in there? Well, according to research, most entrepreneurs are more effective when they're more creative. What do I mean by that? Well, my mentor, Jim Rohn, used to say to me, Omar, at the end of every week, take a couple hours and reflect on what you did right and what you can improve, where you can save time, where you can, combine activities. And he said, after a month, at the end of a month, take about 6 hours. He says, at the end of the year, take a couple days and reflect on your year. How did you do? Grade yourself from 1 to 10. What did you do right? What could you improve? Notice I didn't say what you did wrong, because we never look at the wrong. The present is what matters. Focus on the present and the future, because the past is nothing but a bucket of ashes. My mentor, Tom Hopkins, said to me, if you were to if we were having a campfire and you were in charge of the fire and you showed up with 2 buckets of ashes, what would we say to you? Omar, what are you doing? Why do you have 2 buckets of ashes? Well, a lot of people are showing up to life with 2 buckets of ashes. Listen, guys, the past is the past. The only thing that matters is the present and the future. What we want to do from the past is learn from it, right? Learn from it. Nobody's perfect. I'm not. You're not, and don't beat yourself up. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things we didn't want to do or are not proud of. So make sure that you focus on the present and the future, because everything else is slowing you down. Too many people focus on the past. When you focus on the past, you know that it's just not healthy. It's not good for you, and it's not productive. You know, Ben Franklin used to worry a lot. He was a worrywart, they said. And he developed a system. And what he did is every first of the month, he would write down everything that was bothering him, everything that was worrying him. He would write it down. And then at the end of the month, he noticed that out of the 100% of the things that he worried about, only 20% happened, right? And there's another funny thing. When you go to work or you talk to people or other people about your problems, 80% of them don't want to hear it. And the other 20 are happy you have them. So don't give them that privilege. Next, it creates a fountain of discipline. Discipline's my favorite word. Mr. Murphy taught me this when I was a young man. He pulled out a Webster's dictionary and he says, discipline, the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. I love that. Discipline, the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. So make sure you got that. So what are some of the ways of properly investing time? Let's talk about it. First, eliminate unnecessary activity. So what I want you to all do is to track 1 week of your life. Track 1 week of your life every month. I still do it. I track 1 week of the month every month, and then I look back at that week and see what could I eliminate, right? There are things that you can eliminate all the time. You know, time management is kind of like losing weight or gaining weight. You don't go like that or like that. You go a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And so it's little things that make a difference, right? And that's the difference between successful men and women and unsuccessful entrepreneurs. And it's the little things, right? But those little things make a big difference. So realize that the little things are what matters, because the little things make the big difference. Next, combine activities. Try to do 2 things at once. Every day when I walk here in Boca Raton, Florida, I walk my 10,000 steps every day. I listen to one of my mentors or myself. When I work out, I listen to music or one of my mentors. Be productive in what you do. You know, in the old days, when you used to get a lot of mail, I would sit at my health club and my assistant would bring me all my mail, and she would have it all open for me. And I would look at my mail while I was riding the bike, the stationary bike. So, you know, combine activities, learn to do that. And here are the 12 words that I love. Mr. Murphy taught me. He said, learn and live by the word commitment. And here are the 12 words he gave me. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Wow. Those words changed my life. I put it on my dash of my car. I put it on the mirror when I'm getting ready. I put it by my desk. And I would look at it and I would say, I got to do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. If the most productive thing possible at every given moment is reaching out and calling prospects or people that can buy your products or services, that's it. If the most productive thing possible is going to the beach and relaxing, that's it. Whatever you do it 100%. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Next. How can you manage your time more effectively? Well, the $100,000 idea. What do I call it? The 100,000 idea. Well, Mr. Murphy said to me, Omar, if you want to be more successful, why don't you write down the 10 most important things you must do the next day? And it increased my income by 100 grand the first year. So I call it the $100,000 idea. So what you want to do is write down the 10 most important things you must do the next day, right? Every night, whether it's on your tablet, your laptop. I do it. I have staff, but they do it for me. But I also write it down. I like to write it down. I like to have paper next to my, so I can check it off. I like the dramatic of checking it off when I get it done. You know, it's kind of fun. So next, goals. Well, when you write down the 10 most important things, you must break it down. So you break it down. First of all, break it down into bite size, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, they say, right? Remember the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So make sure when you have uh, breaking down time management, you want to take the biggest ideas and GTM, baby. The most important thing is GTM, get the money. So you should do that first. And then different projects take different times. So make sure you break them down into chunks and make sure that you break it down because some goals have different gestation periods. Speaking of goals, goals are part of time management. So why are goals critical for success? Well, because the human mind is a goal-seeking device with no goals for achievement for emotional handicap. The emotional handicaps will cause frustration and discontent. What are the emotional handicaps? Number one, realize that emotional handicaps could be worry. It could be procrastination. It could be, putting things off. Whatever it is, get rid of it. Remember, it's not the little thing, it's the little things that count, right? Which make the big things happen, complete cycles. So the goals are the main generators of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a great word. Entheos, the Greek word for I am sold myself, right? And of course, make sure that what areas you should really focus on your goals. Financial net worth. All of you, you should be working on net worth. Now, Jim Rohn taught me net worth. Net worth is what you're really worth, meaning take out what you owe and what are you worth. Financial independence, financial freedom is making money while you sleep. So multiple streams of income. MIS, multiple streams of income. MSI is not another job. MSI is not working harder. MSI is not even a better job. MSI is multiple streams of income. Your financial net worth should then be making money while you sleep. Financial independence, okay? Next, set goals for family, individual, as well as group. By the way, self-development, success is mostly a do-it-yourself project. So don't expect people to buy into your stuff unless you own a company and they have to. But most of the time, if you're remote or working from your apartment or your home, it's a do-it-yourself project. So make sure you get that done. Next, it's emotional. Goals have to be emotional. I always tell people, don't set logical goals. When I had my sales companies and my health clubs and my record companies and my real estate companies, I would set goals for my people. And people would come to me and say, I got this goal. It would be a logical goal. A logical goal could be something like, let's say a watch or a new car. Well, you can't have just a logical role. You have to build emotion behind it. Why do you want the watch? Why do you want the new car? Well, because my other car, for me, it was my car didn't have air conditioning. I just wanted a car with air conditioning. And I was sick of melting in California. So that was my emotional goal. I tell people, and I tell everybody still, if you set logical goals and not emotional goals, goals that start your heart and mind and body, you are going to raise yourself very skinny. And you don't want that. You want to be healthy. Skinny is okay. Physical goals. Should set physical goals. Look, to get rich and sick is stupid. I know a lot of billionaires that are friends of mine, and they have these huge yachts, 225 feet yachts. And I go on them, they have this beautiful staff of 10 people, and they can't even move around the boat because they're so out of shape or they don't take care of themselves. Next, career. Set career goals. And make sure you set spiritual goals. That's number one, actually. All right. So there are two types of goals. Short-term goals, no longer than 90 days. Remember to set those time management goals. And then long-term goals. And remember, these should be your best, but believable. And then long-term goals should be clearly defined. So your short-term and long-term should be no longer than 90 days. Long-term are 90 days and more. They should be better than your best, but believable, and should be clearly defined. Okay? A long-term goal. Begin by outlining a clear, defined picture of what you want in 3 to 5 years, right? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Next, what are your net worth goals? You know, my net worth goals and the people that I work with, we define what we want to have in 1, 3, 5 years, even 10 years for some people. Work backwards from 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, then 1 year. Your personal accomplishment goals and status symbol goals should be clearly thought out. I'll tell you a quick story. I'll never forget when I was with Tom Hopkins and Tom Murphy. And Tom Hopkins wanted to have a private jet. And so he gets this private jet. He was so excited. He had me go to Burbank Airport. That's where they picked up the jet. They lived in Arizona. So I go to Burbank Airport and Tom Hopkins, we took pictures in front of the jet, Murph and Tom Murphy. We get in the jet and he tells the pilot, because there was a whole bunch of people from his office and friends outside, he says, you know, take off straight up. And we did, man. We took off straight up. And then a month later, I got on the plane, on the jet with Tom Hopkins, and I go, what's going on? He says, well, I don't think I like this goal anymore. I go, what's the matter? He says, well, every time I get gas, it's $50,000. So we're going to cancel this goal. So sometimes your goals that you want so bad, when you get them, you're like, you know, this isn't worth it. So be able to be flexible and pivot if a goal is not what you want. Okay. So your goals must be vividly imagined. So you need to look at your goals, vividly imagine them, vividly live them. Okay. They should be ardently desired, meaning all you do is think about it when you wake up, during the day, and at night. So what I want you to do is take a business card or a 3x5 card and write your top 3 goals, in the back of that card, or your 3x5 card, cut it to card size, put it in your wallet or your money clip. And 3 times a day, I want you to take a look at it. In the morning, look at your 3 goals. In the lunch, look at your 3 goals. And at night, look at your 3 goals. But here's the next step where people fail. Make sure that every day you look at those 3 goals, challenge yourself to do one activity to move towards that goal. Okay. Next, your goals must be committed to. You know, I hear people, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire like you. No, they don't. Because the moment that it gets tough, they quit. Or the moment, you know, they get on, and it's okay, I watch Netflix, but they binge watch a show for 2 weeks and they don't do anything. So they really didn't want it. Next, your goals must be in writing. I know you could do it on a tablet, laptop. I do mine on writing. I like to write them out, look at them. I like to pull out different pictures from online or magazines and pick what I want. Okay. So what I want you to do is think about now management. So we're going to go back to time management. I told you we're really going to get into it. So the first thing I want you to do is develop a strategy. Move this up out of the way a little bit. All right. Okay, things pause. I don't want that. Okay. So step number 1, develop a general work schedule. Your work schedule should include time for yourself as well as time for your business. And if you have a family. So what I want you to do is think about it. When you develop that schedule, it gives you a little time for yourself to be creative. Next. Step 2, prioritize by identifying critical deadlines, routine items, and fun or relaxation time. Setting priorities depends on deadlines, number of people you must call to get the info. Like yesterday, I got a call from the guys that ran Results. Results was the marketing team that booked Tom Hopkins and then myself. And they're doing a get-together in November. So they invited me to get together all the people that were in Results, meaning they promoted us. And so we're getting together so that they have to work at that. It's kind of like your 10-year anniversary from your high school, right? Your get together. So, and then realize whether you can delegate. If you got money like me, you can have a team and staff and have delegation, have people do stuff for you. If you are involved in group projects, reserve additional time for communication and problem solving. Make sure that you realize that communication is key when you're doing group projects. Next, step 3, once you have identified your priorities, look at all of the options for achieving them. So for instance, set the goals, organize the work, analyze the work, and then delegate the work if you can. Let me say that again. Set the goals, organize the work, analyze the work, and delegate the work. And if you can delegate to others, even better. Next, evaluate and move forward with the ones you feel are the most useful to you. So don't expect a sparrow to be an eagle. Give an eagle projects or an eagle the things you need done that need to get done. Don't give it to a sparrow. A sparrow is not going to get it done. Go with the eagle. Next, the only time to consider changing approach is with your task is when you know that change will save time. As in doubt, usually best to consider the direction you started with. Look, everything is in constant flux. So don't expect the plans to go the way they go. You expect them to. Everything changes. Everything changes. You got to be ready to change and pivot and move and save time or cut time or add time, right? Sometimes that happens. Next, by setting up your work schedule and identifying your priorities, you have already started down the road to more effective time management. So make sure you set your priorities from A being what you got to do, GTM, B is what you can put off to tomorrow, C is what is long-term, D is what you can delete, and E is evaluate yourself on a daily basis. Let me say that again. A is GTM, get the money. B is what you can put out a little bit. C is what you can have others do, and D is delete, and E is evaluate yourself on a daily basis. Next, contract out tasks if you can. Contract out tasks as much as you can if you don't have expertise. There's a lot of inexpensive things that you could do out of the internet now that you can hire people for, $10, $2, $8 to do projects for you, right? So your client appreciates honesty and effort to get the best result. It's important for you to be effective for yourself and your clients. Start with the most worrisome task. Start in the morning, knock those out, get them out of the way, right? Afternoon or evening with the most worrisome task before you keep going. This will reduce your anxiety level for the next task. Remember, Ben Franklin, 100% of what he'd write down at the end of the month, only 20% mattered. Complete deadline, work early. Not only will this reduce stress and lighten your workload, what I like to do is I like to get up early. It's quiet, the phones aren't ringing, there's nobody around. Get up early, you can knock out a lot of stuff in the morning. So, I learned that from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy would tell me, get up 2 hours before you have to be in front of the Zoom or call or customer. He always told me 2 hours before, whatever that is for you. Complete deadlines, work early. Not only will this reduce stress, lighten your work schedule, but it will always give you more self-confidence about managing your time. Belief is very important, self-image. So keep working on your belief and self-image to become better. Know your capacity for stress. A lot of people can handle a lot. Some people can't handle anything. So when you're hitting overload, take the break you need, even if it's a short one, when you need it. I have one student, I make her take a break every 3 hours and take a nice 15-minute walk or go down to ride a stationary bike for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do something. Go meditate, go stretch, relax, do what works for you. Look, being an entrepreneur can be very stressful. So make sure you have things around you or do things that will loosen the stress. Stay organized. Take time at the end of the day. As I said, write down the 10 most important things you must do the next day. Take 10 minutes and lay it out. Organize your desk. Some people have organized desks, some people don't. It just works for them. And make reminders lists for the next day. What I like to do is write down the 10 most important things I want to do the next day. GTM first, get the money, and everything else flows. Take advantage of downtime. If you have downtime, let's say a client calls you up and say, hey, like today, I had someone call me up and say, I'm not going to make my appointment. I'm not going to make my mentoring appointment with you. So can we reschedule? So because I had that time, I made some phone calls. Allow yourself some downtime between busy periods to review and reevaluate your priorities. Get physical. Physical exertion, such as walking, bicycling, swimming, or organized sports activities, help to discharge stress. Get involved in some activities with other groups. Like I have friends of mine that are my students, and they are now doing a group with a soccer group or baseball, or it's fun. You go out there, you can do some sports, you can network, you can build relationships, and you have fun. Have fun. Be sure to have some fun while working or playing. A good sense of humor can keep most problems in perspective. I have a friend of mine, he's a speaker actually. He is a master at karate, martial arts. In fact, he is called the master. He is a 7th degree black belt. And he actually awarded me Motivational Speaker of the Year for Martial Arts magazine. And he's a great guy. And what he does, you might laugh, but he gets me laughing. He laughs 5 minutes a day. And I know it sounds silly, but he gets me to laugh. He starts doing this out of nowhere. He says, Omar, you ready? I said, okay. He says, ha, 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 ha. And he does that for 5 minutes. I guarantee you, by the end of 5 minutes, whoever's around is going to be laughing because they're thinking, what the heck is he or she doing? But it's fun. Anyway, you got to laugh. Look, Norman Cousins, you've heard the stories about him. He was very ill, and he made himself healthier by laughing and sense of humor. So make sure you laugh. It's funny. A lot of things happen to us, and then we think about it 2 weeks later, we can laugh. Learn to laugh sooner, right? So that's important. Divide up your time. Decide how much time to spend on business development, personal development, your needs. Volunteering is fun. It's great, and it makes you feel, I always feel when I volunteer, I feel better than, I know people go, well, why are you out there, doing this and that when you could be doing, look, I reap benefits being there, saying hi to people, shaking hands, handing out clothes, food, bicycles, whatever it takes. So volunteer. And family, start by devoting 25% of your time, if you can, to yourself. And that means working out. That means prayer, meditation. That means listening to music. That means dancing. That means having some fun for yourself. Guys, life's too long to be miserable. Start a timeline for your commitments. Remember that maintenance takes at least 25% of the time you spend on any project, whether it's business, marriage, relationships, serving on the board of a nonprofit organization. Build some flexibility into your schedule. Shit's going to happen. So your availability to time, friends, depends on flexibility. I tell you the story that when I was a younger man, my kids were younger, I said to my wife, I said, she says, well, she used to go to camp up in New York every summer. And I said, well, we're going to go to Camp Omar when the kids hit 7. So when my daughter was 7, my son was 5, I created Camp Omar. Camp Omar was going to California to either the Montage, the Ritz, or the home that we bought, and staying there from the moment they got out of school to the moment they had to go back to school. And all I did was I did speeches out there and mentoring from there. And I would every morning go out and have fun and look at the fish and the coral and all that stuff and spend time with my kids every day, which was great. And they remember that more than anything else, believe it or not. So why do we want to save time? We want to make more money, GTM. So you need to create a sales funnel. A sales funnel could be face-to-face. It could be telephone calls. It could be referrals. It could be online marketing. It could be branding. It could be, your SEO, whatever it is, you need to do that to get the funnel full and keep the funnel full. Most people, when they start making sales, they stop doing what kept the funnel full. Make sure you keep the funnel full. Branding, SEO, online marketing, telephone, face-to-face, referrals. That's what keeps the sales process going. So the lifeblood of prospecting. So, time management is nothing but a matter of numbers, and so is selling. And whatever you're doing, you're selling, whether you're online, whether you're face-to-face, whether you're referrals, whether you're on the phone, whatever it is. So why are the average of fade to prospect the phone or by warm canvassing? Because they're afraid of failure. They take rejection failure personally and let the stress, challenge solving, and anxiety lead them into an immobilized state. Make sure you don't take rejection personally and let that stress, challenge solving, and anxiety lead you into an immobilized state, right? Eat failure. Learn to fail forward faster. Remember, failure is nothing but a setback, and a setback is nothing, like my friend Les Brown says, a setup for a comeback, right? Failure is nothing but a setback, and a setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback, right? So let's talk about why people fail and they don't do all this stuff we're talking about. Well, they expect rejection. I want you to expect rejection. Get the you out of failure so you keep moving through your time management. If you expect failure, if you keep working through your time management, your 10 items, and don't think about it, just do it, right? You're going to keep going. So learn to fail forward faster. Number 2, if something's not working, your time management, get rid of it. Change it. Change it. If you're using some kind of, like we use Usana, well, if that's not working for you, go to Google, whatever, but make it work. Next, invest in yourself. Listen to, watch motivational learning materials or music that gets your juices flowing. I told you guys, I listen to audios every day, every day, every day. Sometimes I listen to myself. I got good stuff. Next, talk to positive people. Join the inspired crowd. Join the inspired crowd. Next, manage your mental input. Don't beat yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. Use positive affirmations, self-talk, and meditation. If it doesn't serve you, don't say it, don't own it, don't think it. Next, be careful what you eat. It takes energy to be an entrepreneur, right? If you don't have energy, you can't keep going, especially if you're working from home. Make sure you take a break, take a walk, take whatever you got to do some push-ups, listen to music, do some yoga, do some meditation, pray, whatever it takes. All right. Next, proper exercise releases tension and stress, therefore improving performance and energy. Being an entrepreneur is very stressful. So make sure that you do something to relieve that stress. Go for a walk, swim, bike ride, work out, listen to music, right? Listen to motivational speakers, whatever it takes. All right, so I want to see if I'm looking for a couple people to sign up for mentoring. I've had a few people that they grew out of it and are ready to go. That's the goal of a mentor. My goal as a mentor is that you learn so much from me that you don't need me after a few years. So, I mean, always need me, but not need me to mentor you and be part of the mentoring program. So the key is you got to be ready to become my next success story. So if you're ready, there it is. Get mentored by me one-on-one. The questions are you willing to invest in yourself? Because it's not free. Number 2, are you willing to invest in your future? Number 3, successes in the moment make every moment count. I am the mentor's mentor. I mentor my mentors after I got older. I'd like to get 3 folks to email me at info@omarperiu.com and say, I want to be mentored by Omar. I want to be mentored by Omar. Just say that and I will reach out to you myself. So there it is, one-on-one mentoring with Omar Periu. For more information, email info@omarperiu.com. All right, great. Dan, you want to stop and I'll take questions.